Welcome to another exciting Friday. It's PM Personality Profile. My guest tonight, he leads one of the biggest congregations in Ghana. He's an engineer and has been involved in the design of some major edifices in the country. Apostle Alexander Yaw Kumi-Larbi, General Secretary of the Church of Pentecost, my guest tonight. Good to see you, Apostle.
Nice meeting you too.
How have you been and what have you been up to?
Well, by the grace of God, we are cool. And working for church and country is a bit huge on our shoulders, but grace is keeping us through, and gradually we are fulfilling our mandate.
And you are looking at grace is indeed keeping you.
Yeah.
I know that you grew up in Agyeman-Duah. Is that where you hail from?
I was born in Agyeman-Duah.
You were born in Agyeman-Duah.
But my father then was a mason foreman with the Department of Social Welfare.
Okay.
So born in Agyeman-Duah, we moved to Nkoko. Okay. And by age 4, we are settled in Suhum.
In Suhum? Okay.
It's in the eastern region. So it was a triangular something.
Okay, so your dad is from Nkoko?
No. We are all from Ebru Ekwapim.
Ebru Ekwapim. Your mom and dad are from Ekwapim?
Yes, Ebru Ekwapim.
Okay. And you were born in Agyeman-Duah? Okay.
Born in Agyeman-Duah, moved to Nkoko and started in Suhum by age 4.
By age 4.
And everything continued from
there.
Even yesterday I went to Suhum.
You went to Suhum. I'm sure it brought back memories of growing up. Let's talk about growing up in Suhum. As a little boy, 4 years old, growing up in Suhum, how would you describe the environment?
Yeah, at that time, I didn't know anything. And coming from a very poor family and background, we were 10.
Okay.
And I was the 8th. My father was a peasant farmer. My mother was a petty trader. So we were staying in a slum. And as it were, we had to do all those things that the young guys were doing in the ghetto. Okay. Not being a bad boy
What
as such,
exactly?
But playing gutter to gutter, chaskele, pilulu, and all, ambi and all that. So it was a community something. But knowing our background, being poor and Christians, as it were, okay, being Christians as it were, we were modest in everything, and the whole family was supporting our parents as it were. You can't believe, I tell people who are struggling, they hardly believe, because at that tender age, we had to be selling all sort of things. Morning, there's something you go and sell before you go to school. Okay. You break around 11:30, those they were running shifts. You come, you go and sell something like banana or bread. You close at 4:30, you have to go and do another set of errands. Around 8 p.m., my mom will cook something they call rice porridge. You have to sit by it and sell. So our life was selling, and then worshiping or serving God. And that paved way for us. It really built us. It also humbled us, as it were. Yeah.
Wow. Let's talk about your school days. So you started from where? Suhum Presbyterian?
Suhum Presbyterian, P1.
Okay.
My class teacher was Teacher Nancy.
Hey, you still remember?
Yeah, I remember Teacher Nancy.
She must have been good to you.
Yes, she was very good. And then P4 too, I remember, because Mrs. Haite's son was my friend, P4. And then Teacher Lati was somebody who was very disciplinarian, who didn't take nonsense from anybody. So I remember Teacher Lati too. And then my BK Madam Mrs. Abuaji, he introduced me to Christ through a scripture union meeting. Wow. So I owe them a lot. Okay. And then from there, I sat for common entrance. Those days you had to sit for common entrance. You pass, that would be the transition to the secondary school. Yeah. And that one too, it's a story.
It's a story.
In 79, the June 4 coup had come. And things were not going well in the nation. My mother, at one point in time, had gone to the farm. All the foodstuffs she brought were seized, as it were. Wow. And they said we're going to, as it were, sell it cheap to people. Oops. And my mother was crying.
What was the reason?
I mean, those days there was no food. So once you come from the farm, the soldiers want to auction it. They want to auction it cheap so that people can get food. I saw it. It's not a story. Wow. So my mother was taken to the police station. Fortunately, our house was nearby because she wasn't going to give in for them to sell it cheap.
The food,
and they said he had 10 children. Oh. So they had to wait for all of us to come and count us before they gave us back the food. Wow. That's the life we lived. And then when I passed common entrance in 78, My dad said there was no money. Those days, only the boys were attending school. So my elder brother was at Asamankese Secondary School, the second in price. So being the third, my dad said there was no money. So I had to wait for the one in Form 5 to finish. So that I would use everything, including his boots. Yes, that is the story.
To go to school.
So I waited for 1 year. I restarted in 79, God being good, I passed. Then there was the need to get some things. Those days we say trunk, choppers and all that. I had to sell banana, oranges, sugar cane, coconut to raise some money.
Wow.
And I bought my own trunk. It's still in our house now.
Goodness.
All my boys have used it. I have four boys.
It.
I have 4 boys. Each of them have used that trunk.
That trunk
before
that you
go
bought
to
with
school
your
in
own
79.
hard-earned money.
The old man came to buy it in Accra. He was drunk, and friends came to call me that your father was drunk and he was sleeping on something. When it was my trunk, so I brought him home. He was a drunkard at the time.
Goodness.
Very sad. And then that is a story. So each child who goes to secondary school, my sons, I'll hold your hands, pray with you. I said, this is my beginning. This was my beginning. It's only God and hard work that has brought me this far. So all the 3 boys who have passed through secondary school, they all used it.
The trunk.
And it's still in my house.
I'm sure one of your grandchildren will use it.
That's a story. So I entered Kofra Sectec in 79. So 79 to 84, I was at Kofra Sectec in Merimamba. It's a good school.
Okay.
It really made boys, become men.
Okay.
If you go to a boy, shy looking, timid, you grow to become tough. So they toughened me small.
Okay.
And then I moved to Presec.
What were some of the training?
The discipline was there because there were a lot of Ghana boys there. See the guys, they bully you small. Hey, baby, who is there? And that kind of thing. So then you kneel down, you carry your trunk and all that. You go to the dining hall, they will not give you meat, they will eat everything, and then you have to go, and all those things you have to. And the night, the seniors will say you should catch maybe about 20 mosquitoes alive.
Goodness.
And show it to them before you sleep.
Who does that?
Another thing. So you cry till dawn. So
are you able to do that?
You can't. Where they want to beat you. So if you're not getting it, then they'll be beating you. So that was Kofra Sectec.
Interesting.
And it was a technical school, so I liked it. Because they were doing technical courses.
Okay.
Like electronics, electricals, woodwork, metalwork. So that's what attracted me to go to Kofra Sectec. And it was a very good school. Okay. Because I met a lot of good guys there. The former Pro-Vice Chancellor of KNUST, Professor Samuel Ni Odai, is currently the Vice Chancellor for Accra Technical University. He was my mate from class 1 to Form 1 to Form 5. Okay. And was my study mate, Scripture Union colleague. And before going through that, the head of Winnipeg Trauma and Special Center, Dr. George Pra, is also one of my colleagues. So we had good friends. If I go back, one guy from class 1 to Form 3, those days, Mr. Kwame Nyante, he's now the Registrar for Nursing and Midwifery Council. We grew from class 1. We stayed in the same ghetto. Their house was this, mine was that. Class 1 to Form 3, before we parted company. And by God's grace, we're all in the same church. So once we met, he's an elder, I'm an apostle, we are serving our nation.
Interesting.
So that is from Sectec down to Presec.
Presec in Accra. Yes. So from Asamankese, grew up in Suhum to Koforidia, now you are in Accra. Yes. Accra is a congested place. It's so different from where you're coming from. How was the experience like?
By God's grace, I'm able to adapt. Because Paul would say, I know how to live in abundance and how to live with nothing. Yeah. So growing up through these things and the experiences I had at Tech, from Tech and all that, environment hardly changed me. Okay. I'm who I am. Okay. I've been the General Secretary for 9 years, and I don't think the seat I'm occupying has changed me a bit. Okay. If anything, I thought has humbled me the more. Okay. So the environment doesn't do anything, because I grew from Islam. Okay. So if I'm fortunate to be in a self-contained.
Among the Dadabis.
I mean,
how was Legon Presec like during your time? Yes,
Legon Presec, it was a training ground. So all my boys, all the 3 boys have also I took them to Legon Presec because a good school. One, the Christian training.
It's there.
Our time was Master Pierdu, Headmaster Pierdu, Reverend Agyeman-Duah, former senior clerk of Presby Church. They were very disciplined and people who spur us on to work hard. You come to Presec and you don't pass your exams, then you are somebody. And you don't come out well-refined Christian to then you may not go to heaven. Because Presec was a good school. I have a lot of friends who are now ministers. I can't mention their names of it. You meet them, I'm here and all that. So it was good. And Presec, I was there.
It was all boys.
Oh, then at the time, it was all boys up to Form 5. But maybe viewers will forgive me. It was the only sixth form science college. That's why I chose that sixth form science college, the only college at the time in Ghana. And because it was a sixth form science college, ladies were allowed. So in my class, we had about 2 or 3 ladies. Even one went to Tech with me to do civil engineering, Dake Mausi. So we have few girls in our, I think, maths class we had 4 girls, among about 30.
30 men.
Yes.
Oh wow, they must be
now,
tough
they were
to
day
be
students.
There. They were day students.
Once you are good in
boarding.
maths and science, you can rub shoulders with them.
So whilst at Legon Presec, I mean that school usually is for people who are well-to-do. You meet different kinds of people. You are also looking at your background. What would you describe as your biggest challenge whilst at Legon Presec?
My biggest challenge, as it were, had to do with how to communicate publicly. Because all along I've been a shy-looking person, so even I was always shy to accept leadership. So when I came to Presec, I was the shy-looking type. Then I was appointed as an assistant chapel prefect. They call it deacon. And that was a big issue, how to conduct church services. So Reverend Agyeman-Duah had to groom me, but they saw the virtues in me. So before service, you walk me through the program, and that really built my confidence. Sometimes I'll be singing and be fumbling. I remember I raised one song, Peace, Perfect Peace, and I said, Peace, Perfect Peace. It became my name. And then that really helped me. But one other issue, one thing happened in one of our first classes. One of the masters came and wanted to know where we had come from. You mentioned your school, then 2 of us had come from Kufra Sectec. Eric Apia is now a PhD guy in Germany. Eric Apia was there, Kumi-Larbi was there, from Kufra Sectec. They said, where is your school on the map? How come you are here? He sort of embarrassed us. But thank God, his first class test, we were on top and we became friends.
Oh, wow.
So that's how it started. So I started building the confidence. The class, I was doing well. And then church to Reverend Agyeman-Duah was, as it were, trying to help me. So I was managing small.
At Legon Presec, were there also financial challenges?
That it has always been through, even at Tech. It has always been through. I know up to O level was scholarship, CMB scholarship. So what to eat was
CMB
a challenge.
Means
Cocoa marketing board. Those days,
cocoa
board
of
now.
Your parents
yes, they had.
Farmer?
My grandfather had a cocoa farm who had died. It wasn't big, but once they come to inspect it, and then they think you qualify. So I had that. God being so good, by Form 2, Kufra Sector, I was given a bursary because maybe I was doing well. So the scholarship also came in Form 2, so I had to freeze the other one.
You were lucky.
And that alone, apart from that, even what to eat was a problem. I remember once we had reopened school, Kufra Sector, and I couldn't report for the first 2 days. My mom was a baker. So those days, to us as a Rollins time, flour was rationed. So the bakers had to form association. This week you get it, next week. So my mother had not gotten hers. So I had to wait for 3 days. And when she got it, I went for it and I put it on the track. Not knowing some of my friends from Accra were going to school, they saw me. When I got to school, I'd been drawn on the blackboard, pulling a track. That one is another thing. So this is life. I know they are watching me, they know what I'm talking about.
How did you feel about this?
It's like the upbringing. What can you do? You are here to study.
You were embarrassed, I guess.
Yes. I said to you, I've even slept under bed, so what again? I have nothing. I remember 2-3 years ago, I took my kids home, and we had stayed about 6 different houses in Suhum. My first one had married. I took him with the wife and the others, and they were crying. They couldn't believe where I stayed and lived. And
wow.
they went up to I took them to class 1 where I sat, class 4. I took them around that, and they came home very worried.
Goodness.
So that is it. So from that background, anywhere you put me, I think I should fit.
And so when your colleagues were laughing at you, what did you do?
I'm one person, if you tease me, then I'll go off. I just shine your company, just going to do what I know best. I know one day I'll get you. Because you come to the maths and science, you also come to me. Yeah. Around in 1984, there was leakage all over the place. West Africa Examination Council, papers leaked big time. We're even told that was being sold in the market in Nigeria. It wasn't confirmed, but it was everywhere. So we the Christians were praying that they should cancel the paper. So not knowing, some friend I heard that scripture, people praying. Then a friend went for Apo as a 12 from New Jabin. Professor Sector shares borders with New Jabin, which is a mixed school. Yeah. So they are going for this Apo leaked papers, and they brought it for me to help them solve it. In fact, I wasn't considerate. I took the sheet and shredded it.
Goodness.
So after tearing it, the guy got mad. He wanted to tell his colleagues. So the next day, after the paper, they met me at dining hall. They poured soup on me. Oops. 10 years fast forward, this young man came to me at Chumbua and Partner, second floor, Kingsway, second floor, to beg for some support, which I did.
Did you remind him?
Oh, I mean, there's no need. I know he knows.
Did he recognize
Oh, he knows. Me, I don't change. Friends, I've never changed. My features doesn't change. So, but he was able to come to our face. He located me and came out, returned from Germany. So he came. We chatted, and then I had to sort him out.
Was he apologetic?
I had forgiven him long, because that was the first time we have met. We were on the platform. You know what I'm talking about is true.
I hope that soup wasn't hot.
Not too hot. But what can you do?
So were you hurt?
No, I wasn't hurt. It's spliced on my dress, just to disgrace me and humiliate me.
Goodness.
That's how we went through.
Interesting.
Then to Presec and then Tech and all that.
So at Presec, what were some of the expeditions? I mean, once a boy, always a boy. You may be in SU, but what were some of the adventures?
As it were, from Sectec was a boys' school, so I'd heard a lot. They come to school, they want to tell all the story, fancy story, which may not be true. True. And me too, I'll shun that company. So I'll listen. It enters here, then it leaves. So I don't apply myself to it. Okay. I said to people, I like singing, as it were, Samamu and things like that. But you join this group, they will sing a Christian song, maybe Dima Semami, Dima. You think it's fine. The next line is another. Say that you drop it. So these things are all there, and I try to keep my cool and enjoying the Christians. And so it's like refer your auntie, so that kind of thing. But what can I do? Sometimes the person's background. Yeah. You go there, you'll be embarrassed. Sometimes you are wearing tattered cloth, and then why do you go and play there? So it is there, but there is a gap.
So you stayed in your corner.
Yes, always.
Because you didn't want embarrassment.
So I always had my friends, a circle I work with. We come to church, I'll just preach. Afternoon, I'll go to evangelism and all that. One-on-one, fine. Okay. But some of these things, I shan't compare. You hear them discussing those things, but you pray it doesn't cross your path. So that is it.
Interesting. So those who were chasing girls, there were those
they
who
hear a lot of things.
Go out
I had
without
3 girls,
exit.
I had that and all that. I mean,
you didn't want to be part of all that. That's interesting. And then you moved to KNUST.
Yes, I went to KNUST.
You read engineering?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw those days when you pass GCA level, it was news. Okay. Those days, when we got admission to university, our names were published. Oh, wow. In the dailies, Ghanaian Times and Graphic. Okay. So I was a shop assistant, and one of our church elders, someone, sorry, may his soul rest in peace, he came to show me the dailies graphic that my name was in it. They are choosing about 30 people, and I think I was number 30 or so. And it was in order of merit, so I thought I'd done well. Okay. So I went to KNUST to read civil engineering. My father was a mason, and being poor, we were doing wala to walasa. Okay. And so we got the contract. Even my sisters are able to set profile. Okay. The house
Wow.
My house I put up in Zoom. My elder sister, which is a retired nurse, she supervised it. Yes, I just sent her the money.
How many boys, how many girls?
4 boys, 6 girls. But we all
girls.
work together.
Wow.
If you don't do it, we should do it for
We'll
you.
do
So
it for you.
you will not go and hire laborers.
Okay.
We will be part of the Wala to Wala thing.
I
So that
see.
thing grew in me. And whenever I'm passing by, I see earth moving machines. It thrills me. I can stand and stare when I see the grader, payloader move. So these things inform my selection, choice of course. My uncle too was, my Mantana uncle, later Solar, he was an architect at Tech. He comes after my mom.
Okay.
So being an architect, my father being a mason directly, like my first born is not a civil engineer. It was in the genes.
Yeah.
So I was groomed into that. So
okay.
Studying civil engineering wasn't a difficult course
for
because I wanted to do it.
It was already there.
Yes.
Let's talk about the environment, the KNUSC environment. Certainly it will be different from where you were coming from.
Yes.
Let's talk about the most influential lecturers and the impacts that they had on you.
So KNUSC, we went 87. We're fortunate to have the late Professor Andam, who rose to become the Vice Chancellor, teaching us. I think he was the head of department. We have Professor Poje, CSK Poje, Professor and Kankam, Anyimedu, and then one Professor Esiewua, and few others. I know, and all these incidents, I think they were all Christians, so their Christian ethics and virtues were brought to bear. They love us as children.
Okay.
Irrespective of the fact that the courses, some of the courses were challenging, they help you. These are civil engineers. But those who come to teach us other courses like mathematics and other things, it was tough.
Okay.
But you had to walk your way through and then make sure you're able to do what you want to do. So Professor Andam, finally, he supervised my project work at the final year. He was a father. And then Kankam was mentoring me. He was working with Asabuache and partners. One, Mr. Kwabwa, he also encouraged me to read civil engineering. So I was fortunate. During vacations, I'll be working with them. So Kankam took me like a son. Holidays, we go to his site, and then so we come back to class to teach me structure. So God orchestrated those things to help me. So that one too.
How was the environment like? I mean, if you look at the environment today compared to your time, how would you describe it?
This time around, it's been improved massively, except that the numbers are overwhelming. Our time, as I said, civil engineering, we were 30.
In your class?
In my class. And
how many men, how many women?
I think about 3 or so.
3 women?
Yeah, civil.
Okay.
Yeah. And then go to electrical engineering, they had some women. And then mechanical, I think 1 or 2. So the class wasn't too choked, as it were. But now we realize you go there, some sit on the corridors and other things. So we had close contact with our lecturers. The library was sufficient, the books were there. You go to the library, you'll be able to find the books you want. And so studying wasn't too difficult. And then getting contact with your lecturers was also forthcoming. Whenever you have challenges, they have tutorials and other things. I don't know what's happening now, but I know the numbers. My son was there, so I know the numbers are overwhelming.
Yes.
And the teachers, their remuneration don't seem to be good, so they're also not putting their best. They come to class, they are doing their thing, especially in the engineers. If you are not committed, you have jobs outside, so why bother yourself with these things? Come and give the assignment, and then they are off there. So you go to the place, and then coming from secondary school, the first you meet somebody you knew and come back and say, you call the person senior.
Yes.
And that one alone will be pondered, because here we don't call senior. That is my hall, Unity Hall.
Okay.
They will not spare you.
You were in Unity Hall?
Yes, Conti.
One of the stubborn halls.
Interestingly, people think I went to Kufra Sector, Presec, and then Unity. I've always liked boys.
Yeah,
boys,
those
boys.
are all boys, Unity Hall.
Yes, boys. And they were, it was an interesting hall.
Yeah.
Yes, there is this entrance we call always around.
Okay.
It means always they are there. And we have no other means by which we enter the hall. You have to be there.
Okay.
I got there, and these big guys are there frustrating the young guys. And then they are discussing all sorts of things, even planning whatever. I remember when 88, we were about going on Aluta. It was planned always around. They were planning, we heard it, but what can you do? Because it's when we went to tech, we were being given allowance. Well, people had really enjoyed in Ghana. We are told, those before us, from 10 years before us, they were served. I mean, before you go to sleep, we were given snack. But when we went, we were being given allowance.
Okay.
And then after 1 year, the Rawlings regime wanted to scrape it and then, as it were, give us students to. It went on strike. It was a big demo nationwide.
Okay.
They sat on the streets around Aija. So vehicles from up north, once you block Aija Junction, the whole nation comes to a standstill.
Goodness.
And it was Unity Hall boys were involved. That's what they are very good guys. So that's how the Conti life was. And in the night, we were studying, somebody was shouting to me, no! I had gone to study and now coming and say he's to me. Now, he has moved and
he wants to distract the others from learning. So at Unity Hall, you were part of all the demonstrations?
Not parts. Some of them I liked and I prayed they succeeded because it was
but you didn't
right.
join.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so sometimes we remotely contribute to how they should conduct themselves. So once they succeed, you all succeed. But you can't be a ringleader. Okay. Or you know where you are coming from.
Definitely.
After school is closed, some people's parents will come with Mercedes-Benz to pick them. You walk to KJTR to pick your vehicle. You come home and your mom asks you, why are you home?
And then you will know that
so you are careful not
you have to be careful.
UST was a good school.
Yeah.
That one too, we used to call it University of Spiritual Training. You go there, the Krifetu was solid.
Was there.
I can talk of Iswadanaba when I was in first year. So it was a IH in Tahoe Christian Fellowship. He was our president. Okay. So we had good guys leading us and we were mentored them.
Okay. So you really enjoyed. I hear around that time you were having 6 meals per day.
No, it was before our time. But when we got there, they were giving us money. So you had to manage your money. So they give you the money from hall tutor every month. You'll be paid money. Okay. They'll go and buy coupons and whatever. Then after a year, they scrapped it.
Okay.
That's where we had a problem. Okay. When it was being
after a year, you didn't get all those goodies.
You had to take students' loan to sort yourself.
What would you want to see? I mean, from the school that you left, you talk about the school being overwhelmed at this moment because there are a number of students, some have to sit at the edge and all that. What do you want to see as the school turns 70?
Right. With Kenwest, I think so far they've paid their dues. If you travel across the globe, you observe and meet or read about Ghanaians who are really excelling. I think the infrastructure development ought to be expanded. They have to improve on it. And then retooling. Even at time, some of the equipment were obsolete. I mean, I left USC 2-3 years. I went to Stuttgart. I said, wow, we are using this equipment to test things here. And what we are using, I mean, it's like 50 years late in Ghana, but we still use it to design roads. Yeah. And you go, these machines are still there. So I think it's not that we don't have good engineers. The equipment and the things that are used to teach us. You come out, you go to highways and all that. The equipment there, they used to test things. That's the result we get. No wonder we construct the roads because that's the results that they are getting from the lab. So I'll go for, since it's a premier science and tech institution, the government ought to retool it. Sometimes you have some of the equipment scattered. You go to CSR, you have some, go to highway. I think we should have a center of excellence where you go one-stop shop. Everything is there, and they get your results. You go to USC, you struggle to get what you want, even now. So the retooling and expanding the infrastructure, I think, is the way to go. Because without science and tech, no nation will develop.
As the school celebrates its 70th anniversary, what's your goodwill message for the university?
I think we should be encouraged and happy that most of us who are trained from USC, we have contributed our quota. Because for me, if you look at a few projects I've handled in the nation, I think I didn't do badly. So if this is the school that trained us, we should be happy. But we have to review our performances over the years, i.e. teaching, mentoring, industrial attachment, internship, and all that, and be able to turn things around such that we'll be able to situate our learning and teaching and learning into the context of the Ghanaian environment. Sometimes we are trained, we come out and realize there's a misfit because we are not well trained to fit into the system. I think university ought to work on that so that it shouldn't be the chew, pour, pass, and forget. The person will be getting the A's, but he comes and he can't even write well. He can't really communicate. He can't interpret what is on the right, and it's a problem. So we have them all over. That's why we have unemployed people, graduates association. It shouldn't be so. Once the person has been able to learn something, should be able to apply the skills and do well. So I wish all of us a happy, this is not 70, so it's not 75, so happy 70th anniversary. I wish that a year or 10 by this time, things will have been better, and wherever we find ourselves, we'll be contributing to the development of our nation and other nations where we find ourselves.
Apostle Alexander Yaw Kumi-Larbi, General Secretary of the Church of Pentecost. Remember, he played a major role in putting up the Baba Yara Stadium in Kumasi and Ohenijan Stadium in Accra. When I return from this break, he'll be telling me all about it. Plus, also share his experience of roads and drainage designs as an engineer. Plus, also tell me how he got into full-time ministry. Did he even know whilst growing up that he was going to become a man of God? All of that after this break. Welcome back to PM Personality Profile. My guest told Apostle Alexander Yaw Kumi-Larbi, General Secretary of the Church of Pentecost. You are an engineer, and you still belong to the Ghana Institute of Engineers. You've played a major role in putting up the Accra Sports Stadium and the Kumasi Sports Stadium. What were the critical role that you played in these major projects?
I think maybe these stadiums may be older than myself, so I came in to do a major rehabilitation.
Okay.
That was around 98, 99, 2000, when Ghana was preparing to host the Africa Under-21 Championship and then co-host the 2000 senior football clubs, AFCON 2000. That's where we came in. So it was a major rehabilitation we had to do. Before I was assigned that role as an engineer on the project, I just returned from Germany where I studied infrastructure planning. So my boss, before I came, we discussed it. I had to quickly go to Bayern, München, Germans would say München, Munich Stadium to have a look at a few things in Germany before I came down.
Okay.
So we had to remodel the stadium. So we did the whole design, but the government at the time didn't have money. So I had to do only the south wing, the Osu wing. That one there is from foundation to the roof.
Wow.
I was involved from setting out to commissioning. So that one, and then we had to retrofit by way of working to improve on the structural integrity on the Accra one. And by God's grace, because the work was going on well, this is another big story. The government at the time thought we could do the Kumasi Sports Stadium as a continuation, and people didn't understand. So it became a problem. We had to work here and then work there. So Ghana politics, after that, there was a probe. People call it a Bon-Waha probe. I appeared before the probe countless times, but thank God, not even a pin was found in my house. We went through. So we had to really redesign and then look at how spectators move. Sometimes design is interesting. You make this place empty as if they are shouting, going, you do the model on the screens, and then you come out to do the calculation. So I did the structures. I was involved in the structural calculations and the supervision of that block. Thank God, it's over 20 years and it's still standing. So whenever I pass by, I say, thank God, there's something.
And you are fulfilled.
Yes, I feel very fulfilled that
your job is still standing the test
And also
of
when
time.
the probe came, my integrity was intact.
Interesting. I also know that you work with VRA. You were involved in some work with VRA and SNET. What was your role in those?
All right, with Tumbuafu and partners, we were consulting architects and engineers. So Tatakwasi ran about I was part of the team that redesigned it around 96. I came from January 97, so that was 94, 95, and then we continued 99. Tatakwasi ran about 2 months. I worked on that road, and then Winneba, Koforidua town roads, whole town roads, Pando town roads. These are the things. As an engineer, we go to the field to take. I would do studies on the road, study the runoffs and the drainages and culverts, come and design, and then package it for award and then supervise. And then this Accra Trade, Accra Trade Center, what is World Trade Center Accra?
Center, yes.
I was also the structural engineer on that.
Oh wow!
So we're designing that. Chumbuafu has done a lot. Chumbuafu, Asabuashi, they were the top guys. So if we work with them at the time, we'll be working on big projects. And then Temas, Community 5 Smith Flats, I did the structural engineering work, and then Ho, and then Koforidua. I worked with Chumbuafu between 95 and 99.
Okay.
But 2 of such years I took off to go and study in Germany.
In Germany.
And then I came back before coming to ministry.
Oh,
so
okay.
these were some of the things. That was the works I did for the company. But talk about VRA, Abuazi Thermal Plant. I did it as a private job. Whilst at Chumbuafu, I worked with my friends Felix Odamitin. He's now a director in one of the consulting firms in Ghana, and then Philip Ansa. We were friends from Tech, Christians, so we all found ourselves to be working with Chumbuafu partners. We were staying in Dansuman, so we also formed a small consortium. We're taking some private jobs to support our lives.
Interesting. So, as an engineer, let me ask you this. I mean, over the period we've had perennial flooding. They say that one of the major causes is building on waterways. But as an engineer, and it looks like our problem is getting worse by the day. Governments, I mean, subsequent governments have talked about building drains and what have you. What have you identified as the problem that is really eating us?
Thank you very much, Aisha. I think it's indiscipline and lack of law enforcement. That is the bane of Ghana. We have all the good laws, but nobody wants to, as it were, make sure the rules are obeyed. In 94, there was a major flood. I was in Suhum and I was coming, the whole Accra was flooded. So immediately we got to Accra and the flood subsided. My boss called me. The president at the time gave us that contract to review all the designs, drainage design in Accra. Sister, I traced the source at the time. We picked that year's flooding. The source was from Agyeman-Duah. So from Agyeman-Duah towards Ebri, and it was dripping from there, and it passed through those things, and then it comes to Alaju. So Alaju is a river. I tell people, so it's a river we are managing like a normal drain. So that is it. So we've been able to identify all the low points and the drains. It's up to us to design, develop or construct these structures. But the power to do it, people come, it's been there.
So
I'm talking about 94.
There's no will to do
I'm talking about 94, but I read the news, it's from 65. Accra is a low plain. And you go to Holland, they are sitting virtually on water. But the laws and the rules are obeyed. In Ghana, if somebody's party is in government, you build with all impunity on a waterway. Another government can want to pull it down. It becomes a problem. So why can't all of us come together and say, this is eating us up? This is the way to go. We clear all the people from the water courses and then develop it for us to have some recreational areas.
Is it just removing people from waterways? That's the surest way to end flooding in Ghana?
You're basically, if you're able to remove them from the waterways and you dredge it, and then you re-channel it, it should be fine. So once you remove them, then the second, where are you going to put them? You should be able to build high-rise buildings and then low-cost houses for some of these people. Otherwise, so far as Sodom and Gomorrah is by the Odo River, forget about whatever we do. We have to clear them. And then we go by the rules. Sometimes we wonder whether people have permits or not. But they're able to build. And we have engineers around. Nobody is saying anything. You know this is a waterway. And they are building. Recently, I went to Saudi mention on set. And I was sad. Let me mention, I was sad. I saw a whole river course. Somebody is filling to put up a filling station.
Yeah.
I was sad. I booked an appointment with the DC. I couldn't meet her. I'll go again. I was sad because I know it's going to create problem for Sum. Sum had never flooded. But once we've started doing these things, 10 years to come, the town will flood. So that is it. A river, we're all fishing in it. Somebody is blocking it to put up. So that is the problem.
Yeah.
If we don't enforce the laws and then stop playing this NDC MPP thing, no, we'll not be able to solve. We all know. Ghana Highway Authority, we all know the problem, and we have the solution. But why are we not implementing it?
Yeah.
It's those in authority.
My next question then will be, why do we have deplorable roads?
Yes.
I mean, what's the problem? Because, I mean, at one point, after a lot of public outcry, you see them working on the road. The moment it rains, we are back to square one.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. You see, the engineers are doing their bit. But from where I sit, I may be wrong. I left the field about 20 years ago, but I still have friends and I know what is right. We design good roads. Okay. But the duration, the period it takes to construct the road is one thing, Aisha. Okay. They do the road, they build it to a level, there's something, you have to seal it. Once they seal it with the first bitumen, then they spread the first chipping. That is not enough. That is a primer seal. Okay. Some of the roads are supposed to go for double sealing. After the primer, they have to come again. Come with a bit bigger chippings, and then a third one. Before. And we do the first one is that. And I wonder, has the government paid in full? I remember once I was somewhere, I called a minister. So my friend, what I'm seeing is over 2 years, the contractor has not come to site, and the road is being deteriorated. So has somebody gone to certify for the contractor to take his money that he has done all the 3 seals? That's the problem. They don't finish the road. If they were to do the primer seal first and second, Aisha, believe you me, double surface dressing should be able to take 10 or 15 years before it deteriorates. And if it's an asphalt, we're talking about 20 years. But we are not having it because something is wrong. Somebody has taken the money but has not done it. So please, they don't complete the road, most of the roads. If we were to complete it, as per the design, but you can take a look around and see. They just do the primacy, but those who don't know the level or the final surface dress, they think it is done, but it's not done. I know I can count a lot of roads which are not complete. But they are the engineers paid for know, it. My friends, you know. You know, I know that most of the roads have not been completed. But they will still go and take the money and leave it. I don't know whether they've paid. I don't want to go there. But what I'm seeing is they have not completed it. Interesting. Yes, but I don't know whether they've taken the money. But I know the primer seal, the first seal, and the second seal. So why stop with the primer seal? I don't know whether maybe government is not paying, so the contractor is not back. That one too is another thing. Yeah, so that is Let's talk about you going into full-time ministry. And I mean, talking about growing up, you've talked a few times about you joining SU and what have you in schools. But growing up, did it ever occur to you that one day you will serve God or you will do church business full-time? Growing up, it didn't occur, but this passion of being a leader and then helping people has always been part of me. I always wanted to help people out of their predicaments. If I see a friend who is in trouble, I'll fast and pray and help the person. That has been part. But I didn't know that was a ministry. But as I was growing, wherever I go, among the Christian leadership, I'll be plugged in. As I said, pre-sec, I was made a deacon, go to tech, wherever, every institution or every Christian fellowship I joined, leadership will come my way. So maybe that was a calling. But interestingly, when I was traveling in '95, I went to visit the then chairman of the Church of Pentecost, Prophet M.K. Abua. May his soul rest in peace. He was an old man. And his prophetic ministry was very sharp. Once he was praying for me in his house at Ridge, and then he said, as I was traveling, I shouldn't think I was just going to study science and come home. God has a lot for me to do. And lo and behold, when I went to Germany, the churches were now coming up. So God dawned on me, to help in planting churches. So when I closed from class on Friday, myself and my wife and 2 sons, I went with 2 of them, we go to one town, from Stuttgart to Ulm, go and do all night, do house to house, Thursday I'll go to Mannheim, I'll go to Frankfurt.
Okay.
So I was doing all these things. And then one day the leadership of the church sent me a note that they want me to be a pastor because they've seen what I'm doing down South Germany. Okay. So that's how come it started. Okay. And I think I was doing it, and they also saw it. So I did pastor the churches and then study.
Okay.
And my boss too was waiting for me. This stadium thing was coming. So somewhere I don't know. I made I finished 97. I had to run home.
Okay.
And came to work. So I came to work 97 to 99, and then they called me again. So in Pentecost, you don't apply.
Yeah.
Leadership sit down, they assess your work, and then they think you can do it. They invite you to discuss. Okay. So they just called me that I should come, and then I responded. And I think I have no regrets. It's very fulfilling. For the past 23 years or so, I think so far so good.
What would you describe as your biggest challenge, 9 years of being General Secretary?
My biggest challenge has been enforcing the rules. In COP, the leaders have foresight. We keep reviewing policies and changing things. But after everything has been done, the head of administration is to make sure people implement them. So sometimes we review the welfare package for ministers, and then you have to make sure it works. When there are some infractions, it comes to you, then you have to solve. And sometimes some of these people may be your fathers. And as a young man, these things comes to you, you have to really handle. So it has been enforcing laws. But thank God, because we are believers, once you push, they're able to fall in line.
Yes.
So it's not a big issue.
I must say we're all proud of you. And I'm sure Mama Rose and all the kids are also proud of you for all the good work you're doing. Which among your kids, okay, you said one of them is following your steps.
There are 4 boys.
You have 4
the
boys.
firstborn is doing his PhD in Imperial College now.
Okay.
He did civil engineer. The second born is a medical officer at Pentecost Hospital, Medina.
Okay.
The third born is a banker. He's with Zenith. And my last born is with me at home.
4 boys?
Yes, they are Levites.
What kind of a father are you?
It's very interesting and rewarding. My last born calls me Osofa. I call him Osofuba. I mean, interestingly. And coincidentally, he's the only person we gave birth to whilst in ministry. And he grew up calling me Osofa. I call him Osofuba.
I mean, your kids also following your steps doing church work.
They are all into leadership.
Okay.
Yes. And their integrity, morals, par excellence.
And you can tell that one of them will fit into your shoes one of these days.
I don't want to speculate, but they are all into it.
Okay.
Because I brought them into ministry and they are part of my ministry. So as to whether they wear the clerical, that is not important. But what they are doing, they are ministers. My boy in UK, he's doing awesomely well.
Wow.
And the pastors love him. But he's not wearing clerical, but he's doing what pastors can do. Once the training is there. So,
and I'm sure in all of this, Mama Rose has been very supportive of all.
More than supportive. I call her the ministry behind my ministry. Because I remember when the call came that I should go, he said, if it is about the ministry, you've been running away, let's go. And then she's been there for me, very supportive, and then counseling and guiding, and then ministering by my side.
They say at KNUST, you meet all kinds of people. When I spoke with Professor Esewa, she said, over there you meet the engineers, all the people. Is that where you met Mama Rose?
No, I met her at home. We were family friends. We grew together at home. Okay. And we didn't know she was going to be my wife. I even taught her and her sister maths and science. Okay. We were giving all the girls in the church assignment, Bible studies, and then when it was time,
were teaching, you were eyeing small.
Not quite, but as God would want it happen, one day it happened.
It happened.
Because He had also raised our morality high, it was difficult also telling her this is what I want to do. But God himself orchestrated it. And
And it's
we've
happened.
married for 30 years. Yesterday was our 30th anniversary.
Oh,
And
wow.
we have no regrets.
Congratulations
If
and
I have to
happy
go and
anniversary.
come and marry, I'll go back to Rose.
To her.
Yes, thank you.
I'm so happy
Thank
for
you.
her.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for the good work you're doing. I must say, you look very healthy too.
By
Do
grace.
you do any form of exercise to keep healthy?
Naturally, per my work, I don't do too much of exercise, but good marriage, sound sleep,
Okay.
a good relationship keeps me going.
It keeps
Yes,
you going.
Yes. I go home and I'm at peace.
Yeah, it's peace. Okay.
So once a while, we take a stroll and then we are okay.
So when you are in your quiet moment, what do you do to relax?
I read, I sing a lot.
Okay.
And then if my small boy is around, I mean, he share jokes with me. And then we are for Wari, Ludi and all that. I'm a family man. So if I have time, on a few occasions I brought them here for lunch just to cool off.
To cool off.
So when I'm free, we really enjoy family life.
It's very
and
important.
the boys really enjoy us.
It's very
that
important.
One day I don't deny them of that.
It's very
That's
important.
important.
Very, very, very important.
All
So
right.
you listen to music and you sing. What's your favorite? Do you have a favorite song?
Oh no, it doesn't come off I don't really know the artist per se, but once I'm religious, I sing a lot myself. I'm a chorus leader, but I really don't have favorite song.
Okay, so who are some of the artists that you listen to?
Dinah Hamilton is one of
Definitely
our own.
Church of Pentecost,
Joe
I
Metal
know,
too,
right?
and then Kwesi Miracle. Elder
Okay.
Dr. Kwesi Miracle. We grew together.
Okay.
He's about 2 years ahead of me. We grew together from Koforidua, and then I was a chorus leader. He was a guitar player, so I sing most of his songs. He's the cool type, and then he keeps you moving towards God. And then the father was a good friend of mine.
Yes, he was also
FEMG. The father
yes,
was a
he
good.
was an elder. Was he an elder?
Was an apostle.
Apostle.
An executive
Okay.
council member.
Okay. Is this the one?
Yeah, that's Adam.
Into a well. It's centered on your grace.
Adom. Everything is
Adom.
Adom. It's only grace.
What do?
You know, Jesus came. Testimony. The essence of my grace is centered on your grace.
Adom. Adom. What do? Alone in the courtroom.
The essence of my grace is centered on your grace.
Adom. Adom. Adom.
So the essence of my praise is centered on your grace.
Apostle Alexander and Yaw Kumi-Larbi, I want to say thank you so much and God bless you for the good work you're doing for Mother Ghana. And viewers, thank you so much for watching. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Same time next week, we'll be bringing you another edition of PM Personality Profile. Enjoy the rest of our program.